If someone was brought up in an environment that was extremely conditional and there was very little love on offer, it doesn't mean that this is something that they will be aware of now that they are an adult. In fact, if they were to think about this stage of their life, they might not be able to remember a great deal. However, even if this is the case, it doesn't mean that what took place will be well and truly behind them. If they could remember what took place, they might soon see how their past is very much part of their present. They can have the need to create the impression that they have it all together and don't make mistakes. But as they are an imperfect human being, this is likely to mean that they will have the tendency to hide themselves. Naturally, as they are not perfect, the only way that they will be able to maintain this image is by making sure that people are only aware of certain parts of them. Living in this way is likely to take a lot out of them, and they could often feel exhausted. They are going to put in a lot of effort to maintain this image, and behind this image is likely to be the fear that they will be found out. It is then not a surprise that they will have such a strong need to maintain this image. This is likely to mean that they are a highly driven person who finds it hard to sit still for very long, and thus rarely take the time to just be. Along with often feeling exhausted then, they are likely to often feel deeply alone. There is a chance that being this way has allowed them to attain a certain level of success. Therefore, in the eyes of some people, they will be seen as having made it and be seen as a role model. Then again, they might have only been able to get so far, or they might have been able to move forward and then ended up back where they were before. What this is likely to show is that they don't feel comfortable going to the next level. If they haven't been able to get very far, it will show that what is taking place for them at a deeper level is holding them back. Whereas if they have been able to go to the next level and are successful in at least one area of their life, this can show that they have been able to resist what is taking place at a deeper level. Even so, due to what is going on for them, they won't have been able to enjoy what they have worked so hard for. As with someone who has stolen an identity and fears being exposed, they will be on the edge a lot of the time. If they were able to mentally detach from what is going on and reflect on how they experience life, they might struggle to understand why they have such a strong fear of being seen as a fraud. Not only this, but why they have the need to present a certain image and can't just be themselves. What will be clear is that they don't have a felt sense of being enough, and do have a felt sense of not being enough. Furthermore, they will feel that there is something inherently wrong with them being less than others. What this will show is that as they were not brought up in an unconditional environment and missed out on the love that they needed, they were deprived of the emotional nutrients that they needed to grow and develop in the right way. Throughout this stage of their life, they might have been criticized by one or both of their parents. Whenever they did something wrong or made a mistake, instead of being supportive and encouraged, and it being made clear that what they did was not a reflection of their worth or lovability, it would have been seen as a sign that there was something inherently wrong with them. They were not enough, and they were not lovable. Feeling useless, stupid, incapable, flawed, and unlovable would then have been normal. As they were powerless and totally dependent at this stage of their life, they wouldn't have been able to do a great deal about what was going on. They would have automatically created a disconnected false self and hoped that they would be loved. This is likely to have involved them doing what they could to get everything right, and not making an effort if it was clear that this wouldn't take place. Not being able to be loved for who they were would have meant that it was a very lonely period of their life. which will mean it won't be any different to what it has been like for them as an adult. Ultimately, how they were treated was a reflection of what was going on for one or both of their parents. The trouble is that as they were egocentric, they would have personalized what took place. Being treated in this way would have caused them to experience a lot of pain and be deeply hurt. For them to reconnect to their true self and know that there is nothing inherently wrong with them, that they are enough and lovable, they will need to face and work through this pain. If you can relate to this, and you can see that you often feel as though you are a fraud and that you will be exposed, and although you have worked hard to achieve something or a number of things, you don't feel as though you really deserve it, then you will be able to see now that this is due to what took place during your formative years, with this being a time when you were deprived of the love, the emotional nutrients that you needed in order to grow and develop in the right way, to develop a felt sense of being enough, of being worthy, of being deserving. And as you were criticized, as your being was criticized as opposed to your behavior in general, then you will naturally believe and feel that you are inherently flawed, that there is something inherently wrong with you. Most likely because your parent or parents and perhaps other people were deeply wounded and they were just acting out, they were in a bad way, and through putting you down, it allowed them to experience a release and to feel momentarily better about themselves, as they were most likely projecting someone from their history onto you and couldn't see you for who you were because they hadn't done the work for whatever reason. And so the truth is that there is nothing inherently wrong with you. You are enough, you are lovable, you are worthy. And for you to realize this, to know this, you will probably have a fair amount of pain to work through, because all the time you have this pain there, it will stop you from knowing the truth about who you are, and it will cause you to continue to be caught up in the lies that you are carrying, that you are not enough, that you are flawed, etc. So in order for you to move through this pain, you may need to reach out for external support. But the main thing is that you don't suffer in silence and that you do what you need to do to gradually change your life. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.